Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Dawn. I would like to take this time to thank all my viewers and my subscribers, and if you have been here before, thank you, and if you are brand new, thank you for joining. Today we are sewing Tilda at the beach. I think it's called at Cotton Beach. I'll link the pattern below as a free pattern. Right here is one of the harder parts of the pattern. When you download this pattern, you'll look at it and the arms and legs look like they're foundation paper pieced, and they are not. You really, every time I made this, for the first 4 times, I got it wrong. And I'm a pretty advanced quilter, and I kept getting turned around. I'm gonna clue you in, the instructions are horrible for this pattern. I wish I could rewrite it and make it good. For those of you who figure out the dimensions of this, it may be that you cut a rectangle and you select and make your own foundation piece for the arms and the legs. Right here I am drawing on the aqua, and you're going to be drawing on the wrong side of the aqua. And basically you're drawing a line from corner to corner, but it's not corner to corner, it's from the corner of 1/4 inch in. So don't just draw a line corner to corner, because it will not turn out. That line will be your stitching line when you put piece B on top of piece A. I had the best luck after making my tick marks on my fabric according to the pattern instructions, to stick a pin in the very, very corner of where I made my hash mark on the aqua fabric, and then placing that pin mark or pin through the piece on A on both corners. That got me where I needed to go. The tricky part of this, though, is the pattern, because you're sewing it. They don't tell you to turn the block around, so really pay attention before you trim the block to make sure when you fold your blue piece over your skin piece that you're not losing width. So piece A is about the size of piece A and B when you get them sewn together. So be careful of that. And at any time in this video, if it's going too fast, you can slow the video down. I have sped this up to match my voice because I'm going back in and talking after I've recorded. So the arms and the legs are going to be the hardest part. What I also did not like about this pattern is, instead of you making one whole tilde, assigning all the fabric alphabets, I guess you'd say, they didn't do it like that. So when you sew the head, the arms, the hair, and then the straps of the swimsuit, those are all A through K, I think. And then it goes and it starts back over when you sew the main body. That becomes A, B, and C. And then when you sew the legs, that's A, B, and C. I did not like that part of the pattern, and I wish that they would have went ahead and just went through all of the different dolls one at a time, but they really skipped around. So really, really glean your pattern and make sure you're following along, because it's really easy to get sidetracked, because you have a tilde that's got an inner tube around her waist that has different dimensions, and of course the hair also has different dimensions. You can have buns on the side, or you can have a bun on the top. Now, I also got to thinking about this. Instead of putting Tilda in water, you could actually make her lay on a towel on the beach, or you could make her lay in sand. I could not make her lay in sand with this color of skin tone that I picked out, because that is the color of sand. But you could make her lay on the beach on the sand, and you could make your quilt where you could have some people laying on towels on the beach, some people not having towels on the beach, and then you could also make Tilda in the water as well to give your quilt a little bit of variety. I did not time myself on how long Tilda took to sew. That first one though, that one took a while with all the pieces to cut out and then me screwing up the legs and the arms repeatedly. It took a while, so have some patience. I even messed up a little bit on one of them that I did for the hair and just pieced it back together. They could have done this as foundation piecing and it would have worked really well, because except for the swimsuit body, all of these pieces are pretty much solids, and so you could have got away with doing it a whole lot easier. But this is the pattern, and so we're following along. And make sure that if you are interested in this pattern, you do visit their website, and I will link that below again. I'm not giving any of the dimensions in this pattern because it's not my pattern. So I don't want to get in trouble with them. I think that this is absolutely adorable. Once you get down the arms and the legs, the rest of it is kind of like a Lori Holt pattern. It's very easy. It's covered corners, or folded corners, whatever you want to call them. I have a specialty ruler, so I'm just cutting my corners off, but pretty much you'll just draw a line from corner to corner and then sew those pieces on. Let's see. This would make an adorable wall hanging for summer, or something to hang outside for summer. I've been thinking about a long time now about making a calendar quilt where each month I make a block, and I may start designing that, so you may see that on the channel relatively soon. This would be an absolute wonderful block to make the swimming ladies for the summer block. This just reeks of summer to me. And incidentally, I've made this video private for those people that visit my blog. Thank you for visiting my blog. This is what's got me started in all this social media, is the blog. Always check there from time to time, because I do have tips and tricks on different aspects of whatever it may be. It could be just life, but pretty much quilting. And I'm not sure how many tricks and stuff I have on this, other than you just need to be very precise in your cutting. Make sure, if you are a new quilter and you are trying this for the first time, cut yourself some slack. This is a very difficult pattern for a newbie, okay? If you are confident in doing covered corners, this is the pattern for you, because it has a lot of them. If you do a covered corner and when you fold it out it's not perfect, as long as it's less than 1/8 of an inch off, it'll catch in the seams and you'll never know. I'm not perfect every time. How I can help myself though is I pre-starch all of my fabrics before I begin, because all of these seams are on the bias, and we all know that bias stretches. So adding starch to the process at the beginning before you start cutting any of your pieces is going to help you drastically in making this pattern. Also, I'd like to note that the straps for the bathing suit, those are piece K. I failed to get out my letter K to show you that you sew that to letter J. Sorry about that. I wish now I would have recorded to see how long this took me. I'm going to say that she took probably about 45 minutes to cut out and sew, and that's without problems. So with the leg and arm problems, I'd have to rip out and redo, recut, redo. Yeah, it's time consuming. I'm probably not going to make a whole quilt of this, but there are more than one block. So again, there are the bathing rings around the center. I have not made any of those. I have made one girl with a bun on top of her head instead of two buns to the side. And that's adorable too. I need to cut out my pieces. I cut out a whole bunch of pieces out of one skin tone and just made them all the same. Just changed their hair color. So I need to do that again for the other blocks and get a good variety. And this will probably be just end up being a wall hanging that I hang during the summer months. We all know how hot it is this summer. So if sewing this helps you cool off by wishing you were by the poolside or in a swimming suit, then this is a block for you. I'm trying to think of any little tidbits. If you find that when you sew your buns to your arms and to your shoulders, and your pieces aren't the same width, you may want to go back and fix that. And later on, whenever you do sew the legs to the swimsuit body, you're going to notice that at the hips, right where they come together, there's like a 1/4 inch of the leg that is water. And that will be hidden in the seam allowance. So don't worry about that. Again, here is covered corners for the bathing suit. And this is a very, very... this is probably the easiest part of the whole pattern is this piece, because these pieces are a whole lot bigger than the head pieces. So this one will take you the least long. Again, the legs and the arms, those are going to be the demon in this pattern. And again, the pattern itself, not a friendly pattern. It probably sold a lot of fabric. And then when it got to the house, a lot of ladies probably went to make it and got frustrated because the pattern is not that great, which is very disappointing. Okay, right here I am joining the head to the swimsuit body. And again, make sure that your widths of your head pieces and your width of your body piece are about the same. Let's see, what am I doing here? Oops. Okay, so here we are at the legs, piece A, B, and C. I set C aside, although C and B are the same size pieces out of the same fabric. Again, this takes a lot of accuracy. So when you measure in, make your tick marks, and again, you'll be drawing, you're making your tick marks on piece A for the skin color. And mind you, you can make the skin color brown. I've got brown set aside because I'm going to make some brown ones. This is my tan girl. I think I'm also going to make a pink girl. I wish that I could find freckled fabric, because I would love to make a freckled girl, but I don't think there is a freckled skin tone. If any of you know of any freckled fabric, even though I'm on a fabric diet, put it down in the comments below, because I think that would be adorable for this pattern. Because freckles for a lot of us are part of life, and everyone spends their whole life covering them up. I think freckles are what make you you, and do not cover them up. So but make sure that when you are doing the aqua pieces or the water pieces for the legs, that you mark it accurately 1/4 inch in on the top and bottom, and then you have to draw the stitching line. Otherwise you're gonna get lost in where you're at when you sew. So make sure you draw the line from corner to corner that where you have marked. And it's not actually corner to corner. It's offset by 1/4 inch. So pay attention to that. This is the hardest part of the whole pattern. I would say the arms are shorter and they may have a little bit more fudge room, but these pieces are very long and slender, and so far this is the pieces that I've messed up the most. I get turned around. Again, pay attention to your pattern when you place fabric B on top of fabric A. Make sure that the chunky part of the leg where you're lining up your corner is the right angle. You're not putting the wrong piece B on there, if that makes sense, because you have two piece B's now, one with a line going one direction and one with a line going another direction. So that is clearly shown on the pattern, but what is not clearly shown is how you fold fabric B outward so that you can get the right dimension of the leg. I did sew one of these that her legs are really skinny, and mind you, there's no feet and no hands. And at first I didn't notice this, and now that I've went back and looked at it, it kind of looks freaky that they don't have hands or legs. But they're in the water, so they're just under the water, that's all. But do take your time to mark these. I found that there was no other way to do this but marking them. And to find the perfect placement of piece B onto piece A for the legs is to use that pin. And basically here you have the shape of the leg where it tapers down to the ankle, and that's exactly what you want. And notice piece B, when you're folding it over, covers all of piece A, the skin tone. You want to make sure that it's not the other way around where you've got something off. This is where I messed up the most, and I didn't notice it till after I cut off the piece. So, but that's the hardest part of the pattern. The rest of this is just making small blocks that come together as a large, long block. This is too adorable not to do for me, but it is an advanced pattern, so take your time. Reach out to me if you have any questions. This pattern has been out there a while. I didn't find any errors in it other than, again, I've only sewn one of the girls. I haven't sewn all of the girls in the pattern. I just find that jumping all over the place on the instructions to try and sew this is very, very confusing. But here we are joining the last part of the legs to the body, and that's that. She's done. I wish I would have pressed this in between, but it's really hot in Texas and I have a lot of electrical stuff going, and to fire up my iron, that means I would have to turn off the AC, and I don't want to do that. So I will do that when I get a group of them all done. And here she is taking a dive and swimming off. Bye, Tilda.